Welcome to another edition of Orlando Lions Den Podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Jason JJ Jose, along with three of my other compadres, Orlando City fans and happy fans, I want to say. We have Cleon. What's up, man? Oh, I like your glasses. They're nice. I've never seen you with glasses, but they look good on you.
Yeah, I barely wear them. I'm getting a little I've been old, but getting a little older. Yeah. So doctor said one of my eyes I can't see out of. So
yeah,
but it's all good though. 3-0. So that's what I said. I said I want a minimum of 3 goals. That's what I got.
We got him. And then we have Eddie, the commish. Eddie, what's happening?
I'm glad to be back. I had a vacation, capped it off with heading right to the match right off the vacation to get a big dub like that. That was exciting. I'm glad to be back. I was on vacation. JJ was off because he had a lower body injury, apparently. At least that's what he was hinting at when he took a picture of some toilet problems.
The toilet.
So that was call that lower body injury as well.
Lower body injury, and it was a leak, and you don't want to know.
You don't want to know. But I'm glad to be back, man. I'm excited. A big win, clean sheet. We'll get into that more, but I'm happy to be back.
All right, we got Alex Ryder. What's happening, man?
Good to see a win. It was nice to go on the Cincy podcast and actually sound like I knew what I was talking about, and to actually predict the score exactly, not only on this podcast but on their podcast as well. So that was good.
I love that you did that. You went on their show and told them you're about to get blanked.
Yep. Yeah, I did do that. I told them I had to be consistent, and I was consistent, and we got a dub. We got a dub, and it was a much needed one, and we'll get into it more, but it was nice. It's nice to have Eddie back, and it's nice to have JJ back as well, but it was nice to have the guys that back on the pitch that we got to see too.
Correct. Well, we had a lot of the guys back, and we'll talk about that here in a few minutes. Well, let's go on quickly to our sponsor, because I think Swag, who's not here today, due to he has lower injuries this time down in Key West. He actually had some family functions going on, so I think it was his mama's birthday. Happy birthday, Mama! Was that correct? Or something like that. Well, happy birthday to whoever Swag down there is having a birthday with down in the Keys. And he doesn't know any of the sponsors, nor does Ryder or Cleon. So let me go on and tell you what the sponsors are.
Make a list at some point, I'm sure.
Yeah. Tuga Landscaping, for all your landscaping needs, get with Tuga Landscaping. You can go to Tuga Landscape on Facebook page, Tuga Landscaping, or you can give us a call at 407-690-9992, and you can get all the information you need there at Facebook or giving us a call. Then we have also trying to think who else. Now I'm drawing a blank. Oh, Lisbon restaurant, where I'm working on getting a nice dinner for all of us at their grand opening in St. Pete, or right here at their sister restaurant here in Orlando in the Dr. Phillips area. Maybe with some guests for us on that one. And then if you are looking for some Latin foods, international foods from Portugal, Brazil, South America, Puerto Rico, go to Seabra Foods. They have 2 locations, one in the Hunters Creek Center, and then the other one on International Drive, right in front of Fun Spot there. And they have all your Latin American, European, and Brazilian type of groceries that you need. And then Field Turf with
Field Turf USA, a good partner of ours. They'll be making another pitch for an MLS team here soon in Charlotte. So, that's what happened. And but nonetheless, they do straight up pitches here, mostly for football teams. And then some of those football teams have soccer house in them too, as you see with Seattle, Atlanta, and now Charlotte. But in Europe, they're a European company as well. They do a lot of practice facilities for some of the biggest clubs in the world, Barca, Ajax, etc. And then they have a product that's used on most of the pitches, the grass pitches, which you see in most of the Champions League finalists, teams that are there right now. Chelsea, Madrid, all of those teams have a field tour of products. So we're glad to have them on board, and we're going to spend some time with them in Atlanta again this year, and we're looking forward to hanging out with them. Good people.
Awesome. And then let's not forget Accurate Mortgage Group for all your mortgage necessities. If you're buying a house and you need a low mortgage rate, and there's some good loans out there, especially VA loans, get with Leo at Accurate Mortgage Group. You can go to Instagram or Twitter and look up Leo Gonzalez and Accurate Mortgage Group. All right, guys, let's talk about Orlando City, our first win of the season. Yes. We get our first win of the season. We also break a record. You guys know that there was a record-breaking Orlando City broke their own record. Well, actually, Tesho did, with the quickest goal ever for an Orlando City game. What was it, 30 seconds?
33
previously,
seconds.
They called it 33. They called it 33. I'm pretty sure it was 31. Looking at the tape, but whatever.
Whatever.
Yeah,
we have it. The record. Tesho holds the record for the quickest goal scored for Orlando City
and he
in a
destroyed
game.
the record. Yeah, it was about a minute.
Yeah, it was like a minute
Mueller.
and a half by Chris Mueller, right?
No, it was like
Against
70. I want to say 75 seconds or 40 something seconds, 45. The 45 was 75.
It was closer to 60, 70. I know that for sure. And it was Mueller against San Jose. And this is 30, 33, 31 seconds. I mean, that's like one sponsor for JJ right there.
There it is. Yeah, I couldn't even finish the sponsors. Yeah, you're right. One sponsor in 30 seconds. And yes, so he gets the goal. Basically, Cincinnati gave up the ball right there, and Tesho just took it away and went in for the goal. Then at the 19th minute, Chris Mueller gave the assist to the nice and fancy footwork of Nani, who put the poor number 7 of Cincinnati on the ground because he faked them out so bad.
Put him in the dirt.
He was on the ground, and he was just, poor guy. And that was a nice goal by Nani in the 19th minute, which made it 2-0 for Orlando City. Then Mendez on the 26th minute got a yellow card for a pretty harsh slide tackle. A pretty harsh slide tackle. And then in the 62nd minute, Chris Mueller gets a yellow card. And then in the 80th minute, from a Benji Michel assist, which he should have had the goal, if you ask me. It was just a mess down there in the goal area, and Benji was the last one to touch it. Then Junior Urso, scores a goal to make it 3-0. And then all the boys came in. João Montinho, Joey Desart, and Van der Water all came in the 85th minute, along with Benji in the 71st minute. And something that I was very surprised was Mauricio Pereira coming out really fairly early, I think, in the 60th minute there, as Andres Pereira came in the 60th minute for him. Guys, tell me what you guys think about this game. It was a good I think this was a perfect time for us that we played Cincinnati. They had come from a 5-0 game that they lost to New York City FC the week prior. They come into town, right first 30 seconds, we score a goal. So whatever confidence they had, that just went down the drain. And then 19 minutes later, Nani scores a sickening goal where their player just is eating dirt, on the ground. So at that point, we know that it's over. All we're thinking about is how many goals we're going to score in this game, because I don't think it was until, I want to say, the 30th something minute is when Pedro Gallese finally touched the ball in the 32nd or 33rd minute. I don't know. It was in the 30th minute something. And so we played phenomenal. We're just waiting for goals to come in left and right. Nani had opportunities. One hit the post with the header from a Mueller, coming into Mueller. And then the shot that he took where the goalkeeper for Cincinnati just tipped it off of his fingertips, or, Nani could have had a hat trick. Tell me about what you guys think. Was this a great win for Orlando City? And hopefully it was a good momentum for Orlando City, especially for winning this game, because they got tough ones coming up soon. Eddie, what do you think?
Yeah, no, your point's well taken. It was, we played Cincinnati at the perfect time. We absolutely need it. We kind of, it's hard to say third game in, it's a must win, right? But we had to keep pace. Yes, we've gained a point from each match. Our defense has played well, but we had one goal in 2 matches. We needed to We needed to get that boost. And what's most importantly though is that you've seen this team face other sides where they should handle and beat, and they didn't. And now we did. So yeah, is it like did we beat like Columbus Crew? No, but did we take care of business like we should have? Yeah, absolutely. So that's positive. The guys got their scoring boots going. I mean, we had what 23 shots, I believe. We were peppering them. If we were more clinical in the final third, there were several times where the wrong pass was made sometimes a little late, sometimes to the wrong person, sometimes just not weighted properly, and we could have had 4 or 5 goals. I mean, Nani hit the post himself. Deton made a good save on one of them, and then they made a crazy block on a Mueller shot, and etc. So there was Tesha should have had a second goal, but I'm glad since it came out this time, and I'm glad we came out aggressive from the beginning. We're pressing. Tesho, yeah, that was it wasn't a quote unquote hard goal, but he made his luck. He read that play right. It was a bad pass backwards, and then he had a nice finish. And then Nani destroyed Kubo, man. More like he had Kubo on his culo. He was on the ground. That was just terrible. I mean, he embarrassed him. That was a fantastic goal. He was on it all match, and I think we control things in the midfield a lot too. Then I'm a
Yeah, and Cleon, I know Eddie, you're freezing up there a little bit. So Cleon, what did you think about the game?
Yeah, the press was just destroying FC Cincinnati, bro. And I don't know what's going on with that back line they got going on, but Nick Hagelin, bro, thank you for being trash, because he absolutely, I mean, that was terrible, bro. I've seen the last 2 games theirs, and like poor FC Cincinnati fan. It was a guy, apparently somebody bought my tickets at like my extra 2 tickets at like double price. I was like, he's got to be FC Cincinnati fan. Who the heck else wants to see this team? Poor guy. I felt bad for him, bro. It was like 30 seconds in, he scored. The look on his face, him and his old father, they just look beaten. And he was like, y'all scoring about 4 or 5 today. Yeah, bro.
So
But
yeah, go ahead. Cleon.
it was just that press was just destroying them. They had no chance. No chance, bro.
Eddie, go ahead and finish up. You were there kind of freezing up and went on with Cleon, but go ahead and finish up what you were talking.
Yeah, I'm not sure where I left off and frozen. Hey, this world virtual internet sometimes has some problems, but ultimately, look, I'm just saying I'm happy with the football we're playing. That press, like Cleon said, was killing them. That midfield was a problem. They kept at some point in the match, they just kept trying to go over the top. We were playing a high line like always, but they kept trying to go over the top, and they maybe had one good chance where they had a chip that went too far. And other than that, Pedro was just playing sweeper keeper because he was so bored back there. He had no action. And the press was killing them. Tesho was pressing like a devil. Whatever people thought Don Dwyer pressed, Tesho actually presses like that. And he had a pretty good match actually. And I'm just happy though the football we played. And I thought we could have had a few more goals if we were more clinical, but we took it to them. And like Urso said, someone had to pay the bill. They were due. Give me my money.
Exactly. Well, something that you mentioned with the Pedro Gillespie, there was one offsides. I don't know if you guys saw where the guy tried to chip him.
He still got the save.
He still got the save.
He got some ups, man. And he's got those
got those tentacles on there.
Yeah, he's got those 1990s Michigan Fab 5 shorts on too. You guys noticed that, right? He's got some baggy shorts.
Alex Ryder, tell me what you thought about the game.
This game historically has kind of cemented the legacy of FC Cincinnati as our slump buster. Going back, especially at home, looking back historically, 2019, our worst losing streak of 3 games, which the fact that 2019 losing streak was only 3 games actually is kind of surprising, but was interrupted by our biggest win over not only of the season, but over FC Cincinnati at home with a 5-1 win. And I think this match was a lot in the same vein. When I was talking to the FC Cincy Soccer Talk guys, the big theme they had was, oh, you guys get a couple of passes up the middle, press your midfield, and you guys are going to steal from us. And they were very accepting of that. And it felt weird because I saw that pain in their eyes, and I'm like, I know that pain. I've been that person.
Yeah.
I've known this heartache, and I've known what it feels like to see a team out there that doesn't feel good. And it's good to see these guys. I know people were a little scared. Oh, we don't have goals. I was even scared when I going into this, like, does this group have it in them to score goals and to, like was said earlier, take care of business? And they did. They went out there, they played very, very well. They got it going quickly. They demoralized them very early on. And they just, honestly, they were having fun with it for a little while, but they were putting in a lot of efforts. I'll talk a little bit more about some of the efforts I liked out there later, but it was nice to see that. It was nice to get some of the players that we need to get back out there. Even if João was only out there for a little while, it was great to see him out there, great to see him perform and integrate. I thought it was very interesting that Ruan was the one that they took off for him, but that was a lot of fun to see, and it was good to push with lots of goals. And we could have gotten a couple more, but it was nice to get those 3 and make it so that I was right.
Yeah, that's awesome. Nice. You're right. Now, talking about business, Alex, you mentioned business. Is this Orlando City team? Let me ask you guys this: is this Orlando City team finally a team that we can say, hey, when we need to beat these lower ranked teams like FC Cincinnati, or I don't want to say Nashville, but Colorado Rapids, or somebody, the smaller teams that aren't as good? Are we finally in business saying, hey, the teams that we need to win, we're going to win, and the teams that we might lose or play harder, we get a tie or try to win and do things? Do you guys think that we've gotten to this point already for the teams that we need to win, we're winning, like we did yesterday against FC Cincinnati? Cleon?
Yeah, it's looking like it to me, bro. It's looking like it's even going back to last year. That's what it's looking like. I mean, because we'll have guys out. We had guys out all last year, and we just weren't losing. We just were not losing to these teams, and it's like every week you're waiting for them to for an upset, really, and it just hasn't been happening. So I mean, like, I guess I'll have to wait for a few more games, because like I said, I'm including last year too. We basically have the same team, so. While I'm waiting for a few more games just to confirm, but right now it looks to be that way. It looks like when we need to handle our business, we're handling our business against these teams. You can't, if you're going to compete and you're going to contend, you just can't lose to FC Cincinnati at home. You can't even drop points to them at home. It's not something you should be doing. It shouldn't be happening. And like I said last week, as I said, there needs to be a minimum of 3 goals in this game because they're horrible. And they got out there and they did just that. I mean, we could have had 5, but they got out there, they did what they had to do. 3-0 win, take it back to the house, 3 points, and it's all good.
All right, Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's the case. This is a good squad. We got pretty deep into the playoffs last year, right? The semis. We got to the final. The MLS is back. We should expect this. This is a playoff team. It's not if it's a playoff team. This is a playoff team for sure. Anything short of a deep run or real contention is going to be, to me, a down, something of a downer. I expect high things from this club. Look how deep we are. Look at how many players who aren't starters who are performing really well, like starters right now. And Papi's only lost 1 match at home since he's taken over, and that was against Nashville in the decision day. That was it. That was a fluke stoppage time. We do not lose at home, and we're not dropping points to Cincinnati at home. It just doesn't happen anymore.
Alex, what are your thoughts on this? Is Orlando City is it handling its business when it's supposed to?
To speak candidly, yes, they are, and I'm glad to see it. I think I know where this question came from a little bit, because there was a little bit of chatter online about, oh, we should have gotten more minutes for some of the younger guys. We should have gotten minutes for the guys that we haven't seen a lot yet. I don't want to just give out minutes for the sake of giving out minutes. Let's go out there and win. Let's put the best 11 out there every week, that based on who we have, based on who is healthy, based on who has had minutes, based on who is the best fit to play against a club. And the club that we put out there this week was the best 11 available, based on who was available, who was match fit, and who could put the most hurt on FC Cincinnati. And we saw that. We saw them. We saw the line, the back four, crush FC Cincinnati, keep them from really, like we were saying, Pedro didn't even have to touch the ball. Like, after he did, we did the building out of the back thing, but they learned the lesson from last week and did a lot better. Didn't give up any dumb passes inside the 18. We put it, built out of the back, did a couple of those passes, used the speed on the outside. Ruan, in particular, was pretty problematic this week, including, I know this wasn't the most memorable play, but he cuts across to collect a ball that had been put into the box from the right, and he cuts all the way to the left using his speed and puts it back into play from the left, and it almost resulted in a goal. This was using speed. This was using the power that we already have in our lineup to get 3 points and get it definitively, so that we didn't have to overexert ourselves. We don't have to throw the second bench players out there because our attackers are so tired. Nani didn't have to overexert himself because he just put people on their butt.
I disagree with you, Alex, and I disagree.
In what regard?
About what the online thing with people. Listen, Cincinnati's a team that basically just came from a 5-0 loss to New York City the week before. We talk about Orlando City, and we've talked about it here. There's a lot of depth on this team, correct?
Yeah.
We got a big game coming up next week against New York City FC. I honestly, Nani could have been benched. Put Benji in there in his spot. Tesho could have been where Benji could have been where Tesho is. Chris Mueller, you could have had somebody else in there. My point is you're going to get to the point. We got 2 tough games coming up. We got New York City, and we have, who just won basically against Philadelphia, 2-0. And we got Toronto the week, who is playing at our home stadium at Explorer. That's how they're using. But my main point is start resting. We're going to go into the 5th or 6th week. Nani's going to be tired. And who are we playing against? We're going to be playing against top-tier teams. If you look at Europe, I go back to Europe all the time. These teams don't have the same players. We talk about depth. We have depth, okay? Andres Pereira, he could have started instead of Mendes, okay? Bring in Mendes in the 70th minute or something. This game, we should have won. If Oscar Poppy is a great coach, okay, then everybody's on the same boat as him, okay? Everybody's going to press at what they were doing with the starters, the 11 that were there against Cincinnati. Whoever would have started would have done the same exact thing. My point is we're going to get to the point we're going to burn out. Nani's 34 years old. Yes, he has 2 goals already. I've had him as the MVP. And I said that at the beginning of the season preview. I said that he was going to kick butt and he was going to be showing it off this year. And so far he's doing it. Okay. But if you start getting him tired, I mean, the guy played the whole 95 minutes in this game. Okay. Next week, he's going to have to go play, especially against New York and during training this week. We need to use, if we have depth, we need to use our players that we have, from Andres Perea, we have plenty of depth. So that's my thing is let's use it. FC Cincinnati was not a good team. And we're just saying now, we just said that it looks like we can handle business against these smaller teams that aren't good. Okay. Hey, let's use it. Let's use our debt to play against these smaller teams. And let's give the good big guys that are our main stars a little bit of rest. That doesn't mean they don't have to be on the 18. They still can be on the 18, but come in the 70th minute, 80th minute. That's I disagree. I think we should start resting some of the players. Yes, this is game 3. I don't care what it is, but we're getting big stretch coming in with some tough games. I don't see Nani playing all the next games, all of them. The guy will be tired. Okay. Mauricio, have him start. He hasn't played in the last 2. So that's my thing.
I would
go ahead.
I was with you. I was with you until I realized you were saying not to start. At first, I thought you meant we should just bring guys in. We should have brought guys in earlier. But just to clarify, you saying these guys shouldn't have started, like Nani?
Some of them. No, I'm not saying. I'm not putting Tesho. We could have Benji in there instead of Tesho. Save Tesho. We don't know what's going on with Pato. Okay, Nani. Okay, Chris Mueller. But my point is the older guys that we have, they're not going to last all this whole season if we're playing them all the time. FC Cincinnati is the team. It's like saying, the Orlando Magic are playing against the top team, the Denver Nuggets in the NBA, okay? Or Brooklyn Nets or somebody. You're going to keep your good guys. Yeah, you can bench them, okay? In soccer, you can bench them and then bring them in later. But give the opportunity. You're going to beat them anyways. You're going to beat Cincinnati anyways.
Man.
Can I say something to that?
Yeah, go ahead, Alex.
Go ahead, Alex.
One part of your argument in particular that I agree with, and this is something that has particularly been a little confusing to me in the first 3 games. And I know Oscar's got his own strategy going, but one thing I've noticed is he's not making a lot of substitutions until the 70th minute, basically. I mean, if you look at historically, he takes the tired guys off, the people that have put in a full match's work and need to come off and it's not gonna benefit them. He doesn't take them off till the 70th minute. I mean, look at we, for example, going back to this week, we didn't even take Tesho off until the 85th minute. You're right about that. I will agree with you wholeheartedly. We need to get these guys in there, but let's do it a little earlier. I'm talking when it comes to starting players, let's start our best 11. Let's not put in players that aren't of starting caliber as starters. Bring them in as relief. You don't put in baseball, you don't put in your backup pitchers. You don't put in your bullpen as starting pitchers every week. You put in your starters. And if one of your starters goes down, you next man up.
Yeah, I'm with Alex and Cleon. I think we just needed to we took Mauricio out in the 58th, 60th minute, which made sense given match fitness. But Tesho was like running like a devil on match. I'm surprised he lasted that long. 85th minute, we got Juan came out, which Juan was busy, touchline to touch, end to end. I mean, I'm glad they took him out because he's a guy who could get soft muscle injuries too. And then Urso is one of our older guys, and he had just scored too. And then they finally took Tesho out. So they were 3-0. We were up 3-0 at that point. Feels a lot more secure than 2-0. But I think 2-0 is good enough where if you're worried that if you're putting guys in the 70th, 75th minute, even I'm not saying 60th, but 70, 75th minute, if you're worried about blowing a 2-0 lead, then your depth isn't as good as it really is on paper. You should have enough depth and trust in them where you can take a 2-0 lead to conclusion and keep that victory. So I think we should have brought them in earlier. But I don't think we should have started them. The reason is, New York City lost 5-0, but sometimes the teams like that, this is MLS. The team goes 5-0, like San Jose loses 5-0. The next week they win 3-0. It's a wild league. Things happen. We needed to have our starters get chemistry, get minutes, get working together, get playing with Mauricio, right? and get going because, like you said, we have tough matchups. We need to be in form. We need to get more clinical. We need to be come back into just memory and not thinking and just playing. And you need reps and
So
minutes.
all these
to do
guys,
that.
you guys are saying basically not to ever rest players, just let them play.
No,
No,
I'm saying,
no.
You
Start your best 11 based on who's in fitness.
And I think actually most of Europe, I think 9 out of 11 most of the time are, and they play 3 times a week all the time over there, and I still think 9, 10 out of 11 are every week players. If you
When
watch.
we get
I mean, look,
into...
Alex likes Liverpool. They just throw out Mane and Salah every single week and never rest them. What's
I'm talking about a 34-year-old player and not me.
No, but
I'm
look,
talking
this
about
is. I'm going to get to that, JJ. Well,
Yeah.
I'm talking about Urso. I mean, this year, if he plays less than 50 minutes, he's going to think it's an easy season, anyways. I mean, 50 games because he played a ton last year. I do think we need to watch them. I do think we have depth. What I'm saying is there's going to be opportunities, but right now we need to get winning. We need to get chemistry. There's going to be opportunities for it. And for example, Nani's not going to make a big road trip. He's not going to travel a lot. He's probably not going to play on turf. So there's already chances to let him go. Nani in the first match came out pretty early, remember? So there's chances where you can do that. You're going to have opportunities to play these guys. And first of all, they want Ayas over Tesho. We don't even know if Ayas is, as much as we like this tape, we don't even know if Ayas is good in this league yet. Or if he plays the way they want it. We don't even know. We just assume he's good because Tesho had a goal and he had a pretty good game. He still missed some sitters, but he's a pretty, his ceiling and floor ain't that far apart. It isn't that much upside with Tesho. So everyone just assumes Ayas' gas has to be better, but we don't know that. Oscar sees these guys. So to me, getting Nani, Mueller, Mauricio, even Tesho at this point, and Mendes and Urso working on that pairing, and out there is important right now, important for this stretch because we can't go these next 2 games. We could take 0 points and it won't be unreasonable. It won't be unreasonable. If we're out here, if you see the first 2 matches and you see a bunch of bricks, bad passing in the final third, lack of goals, and he talked about it all week. Then in order to get that, in order to get a shooter scoring, making baskets, you got to shoot. So you got to get your guys out there who you need to step up. You need to give them minutes in order to do so. And I don't think you could take the chance. Oscar's not he's not going to just disrespect a team like that and then think, well, we got it guaranteed. And after you've gone 2 games with just 1 goal, in my opinion,
I would argue
we had to win. We had to win this one.
Yeah, and I would argue that we also, I don't think, JJ, I don't think we're getting the people in there to get them minutes as much as you would like, but Oscar's peppering it in there. Look at Joey Desart. Last 2 games, he's come in relief. He hasn't gotten a ton, but he's gotten out there and proven that he can at least not embarrass himself for 10 minutes. Look at, Alvarado got out there. Ayas got out there for Tesho. Tesho comes off pretty consistently between the 70th and 80th minute so far this year. And then, just this week, Eddie, you were talking on Twitter about how when Tesho came out for Sylvester Vandewater, he looked great. He looked like he can be a real problem for defenses. Mm-hmm. And when we come into these bigger stretches of games, I trust Oscar to using these substitutions to see, okay, we're going to have matches, midweek matches, weekend matches where, Tesho's played so many minutes. We know that he's probably tired. Let's start Vandewater in his place. He's gonna be able to hold his own. He's going to be able to create chances. Same thing with a couple of the other guys we've seen so far. Mm-hmm. We know we have depth and we're going to use it, but I'm not going to early in the season when we've only played 3 games. Let's get the ball rolling. The first 2 games, the ball wasn't rolling. We kept at it and we just going.
We need to get scoring boots going. So ultimately, JJ, yes, we need to rotate the players. Yes, we need to look at Urso and Nani specifically. They played so much and they're older. But I think the reason we don't need to do it yet is because we needed this win. We needed to start scoring to get momentum, to get into form for these tough opponents, and there's going to be opportunities for it. And that's why I said who is the most important player this year. I it wasn't a cop out when I said Oscar, because man management is going to be crucial. He has so many people they're going to come to get minutes. Ayas and Alvarado looked like someone ran over their puppy. They look devastated they didn't get a minute, So he's going to have to figure this out. Good, because they look down. Once all those Desard and Moutinho, he came in and brought 2 defensive subs. Those guys look devastated. So he's got to get them some minutes at some point. But this is a good club, and it's going to be, you got to fight for minutes. And it's going to be interesting how we see that going forward. But it needs to happen. I'm just saying right now, I'm fine with it not happening. But I do think the sub should have been sooner.
Late June, early July, when we've got between June 19th and July 7th, we've got 5 games in a very short span of time. That's when we're going to get to see this. That's when we're going to get to really put our guys to the test and look at the guys that are going to be tired. I mean, we're going to have 2 weeks off in the beginning of June, but even then, some of these guys are going to go away on international. They're going to come back, and we're going to have to see who's our best 11 when we've got 3 games in 8 days. And I trust Oscar to do that. I trust him wholeheartedly to do that. Will we feel the same way when we draw a couple games in a row? Who knows? I think we needed this, though.
All right, let's go on to the next one. Talking about João Moutinho and Mauricio. Those guys came back on their returns. Mauricio played about 60 minutes and then was subbed on by Andres Pereira. And then João Moutinho came on for Juan, who basically moved Kyle Smith onto the right back and then had Moutinho onto the left back. But he only played about 5 to 10 minutes on that. These are big returns, guys, for Mauricio, who basically they were looking at his minutes and trying to get him back into game fit. And then João, who basically came in and played a little bit to get his feet wet. What do you guys think about the returns of these guys? Alex Ryder.
It was, I was glad to see both. Having João just on the bench last week was great to see him make the trip, to see him be considered. I know that they were probably a little bit more hesitant, put him last weekend when it was a 1-1 draw late in the game, and we wanted to.
You heard it here first by me. I Twitter. I did call it out. Just had to say that.
What's that?
That I did say he was going to be on the 18.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, you were.
Chowder.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. You're getting the concept. I love that. Love that for you. They obviously didn't want to use him when we were honestly hanging on to a draw that we had gotten so late. But this was the match that it was good to just trot him back out there. Didn't want to send him out as a starter. Didn't want to push him too hard. Just wanted to give him back some minutes and slowly reintroduce him. I'm sure that we'll see this pattern over the next couple of weeks, and the number of minutes are going to increase, and the person coming in is going to increase. And maybe next week, instead of Rowan, it's going to be Kyle, or who knows how they're going to change up the lineup so that they can slowly introduce him back in. But I don't think he is a full shoe-in as a every week starter. And it's good to get him going now, because like we were talking about earlier, we've got a lot of games in a short amount of time in the coming up in June. So we've got 4 more matches in May that will allow us to really do that. And I would not be surprised by the time Toronto comes to town on May 22nd if he finally makes it into the starting 11. Mauricio, obviously, going 60 for him was actually pretty nice. It was great to see him back. He definitely lived up to the let's increase the goal percentage once again, because our goals per game was at 0.5 before, and it is now at 1.3. So that statistic keeps holding its own. But it was good to see him back. Good to see him controlling a lot of what the midfield did. And I don't remember any notable passes that he made, but he definitely was a controlling presence again, which is nice.
Eddie.
Speak. Yeah, no, I was happy to see both of them back. Mauricio made an impact right away. He made the initial pass to get Techo that led to the back pass for the goal.
Mm.
And if you watch him, they play smoother with him. A lot more one touch passing. There's a outlet, whether it's Nani out wide or Mauricio, and it's impactful in so many ways. And there were so many balls where he had in the midfield and was just spraying passes left and right. For example, look at the one where Chris Mueller got the shot blocked, right? I mean, Mauricio gets it. Mauricio pass sprays it out perfectly onto Nani's chest, right? Nani pulls it back to Mueller, and it was just a great defensive play. Nobody did anything wrong, but that was initiated because of Mauricio pass. And Joao it was great to see him. He looks spry, a lot of quick little one-touch passing where he helped in possession. He looks good, and I think the difference between Joao and Kyle at left back is Joao offers a little more verticality with the passing. And he tried a ball over the top to Nani, was just a little bit, maybe Nani in the 20th minute gets to it, but the 90th minute, he didn't get to it. But that's another option to stretch the defense from the top. So I'm glad to see Joao back. But we had a spirited debate on the whole resting or not resting players, right? So JJ, you gave us your thing. Cleon, well, where are you at on that? Just resting the players, or going forward, do we start these guys, or where's your position on that?
Yeah, going back for that, it's just my whole theory on that is you don't, especially in MLS where teams are so close and bench players and starter players, there's not that much of a difference. When you start, because FC Cincinnati sucks, and then you're like, okay, we're going to start all our backups. To me, that's how you end up dropping points when you start bringing your team down to closer to another team's level. It's like my only disagreements with that was as far as I feel like guys should have got more minutes, especially in a game that was not close. Like Nani definitely should have came out earlier. Well, he should have came out or earlier, whatever. Tesho, for all the running he did, he definitely should have came out earlier, especially if you're gonna have to be starting him with Pato out. So I feel like he definitely could have got some guys in there much earlier than he did. Tesho, I mean, he normally pulls Tesho in like 65th minutes when he normally starts him. And he normally doesn't run for as hard as he did for that amount of time. Like he normally starts burning out much earlier. So it was just surprising for me. But for me, I'm with you guys on that. With as far as you don't bring your team down to another team's level. You put your best 11 out there. And yes, you do rotate them out of there sooner, especially guys like Nani and things like that. As far as the guys coming back into the team, João and even Janssen, we haven't really spoke about him, but he was available. He didn't get in, but I don't know, that back line is playing so well right now. It's like I don't know how. That's a tough decision to. I'm like João, he's a much better player than Kyle Smith, but I mean, with the way that team's clicking right now and defensively, that's a tough call. That's a tough call to just uproot it right now. We've given up one goal through 3 games, and it was a fluke, and it was like half of it was on Pedro, with just not clearing the ball out and putting Carlos in a bad spot, really. So that's a tough call, man. Like I don't next game. I really don't know what they should be doing back there. Like you said, Joao, he gives a lot in the attack. He's pretty solid defensively too. And Rodrigo, him and Carlos, they've been excellent back there, man. So I mean, it's a tough call to uproot that. Mauricio stepping right back in. To me, that's a given. Because I mean, in the attack, I mean, it's not even. There's not even close. And we had been struggling to create goals thus far. So him stepping right back in, that to me, that's a given. The other 2 guys, that's a tough call. That's a tough call for me. I'm not sure honestly not sure what they should do next game as far as bringing those guys in back or not.
I think João, once again, I'm with you, Cleon. I don't think Mauricio definitely Mauricio is definitely you got to put him in the midfield. I mean, he's the point guard basically of the soccer team. You got to put him in. João Kyle Smith has done a great job at left back. You got to give credit to him. I mean, a guy that's actually more of a right back and doing what he's doing at left back. You got to give credit to the guy. And Schlegel, man, Rodrigo is just. That's what I expected him last year to be. What he is right now, with the way he's been playing. And I mean, you got three defenders that are great. I mean, Robin, we know what Robin does. We know what Antonio Carlos does. And people that are saying, hey, Antonio Carlos gave up that goal. Technically, we play from the back. We see that all the time. We're playing from the back. And Pedro, like you said, gave that back. It was more Pedro's fault than Antonio Carlos's. So, I mean, but if it wasn't for that mistake and Pedro would kick that ball, we probably would have won 1-0 in that game. And right now we wouldn't be talking about 5 points. We'd be talking about 7 points, and right there on the top. But you definitely, João and Robin, I don't know. I'm with you, Cleon. Until somebody makes a mistake, don't have, what's the saying?
Don't fix what's not broken.
If it ain't broke,
exactly.
don't fix it.
Yeah, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. And right now, it's not broken. So I definitely would keep what we have. I mean, yes, Kyle did the lost 2 balls, trying to dribble it, trying to do something. Yeah. But hey, João would have done the same thing, or somebody else would have done the same thing. You can't put him to blame on that. But the way he's been playing, I mean, look, he made a run yesterday. Nani, the flick, and then this and that. I mean, I'm sorry, but Kyle to me is playing great.
Yeah.
Hey,
go on.
Yeah, go ahead, Cleo.
My thing is, I feel like, I mean, obviously, if João is healthy, at some point we need to get him back. He's one of our better players when healthy. He needs to get back in that lineup. But as of right now, I feel like Kyle Smith, in my opinion, is playing better than his actual talent level. So until that balances back out and he comes back down to earth, I guess you can say, you kind of
return to the mean.
Yeah, until he returns to the mean, I feel like in this meantime, while he's playing above his head, in my opinion, no offense, Mr. Taxman, but you might just have to hold it for now, man. And hey, like I said,
what about if he doesn't go back down to his mean? What about if he is?
Then that is what it is.
Then it's great. We have 2 great players.
Yeah, exactly.
Left back.
Yeah. Right now, look, in sports, it's not out of the ordinary to go with the hot hand. Look at Man City or whatever, right? Look at Phil Foden and look at Raheem Sterling. He led the team in goals last year. He's nowhere to be found, basically, right? These things happen, and it sucks you lose your job through injury, but the best ability sometimes is availability, right? So João is hurt and Yuri and stuff like that. Like, I don't see Yuri walking into this either. Like, why?
Oh, absolutely
Sebas
not.
is playing.
Definitely not Sebas. That's Sebas.
That's not even a consideration.
There's only one spot open in that midfield. Urso is always locked in my opinion. And then Mauricio, untouchable, right? And then what is Sebas? Sebas hasn't played. That yellow card looked bad. It was worse in replay than I thought at the stadium because it was on the other. It was like facing the other way. It was bad. It was bad, but none other than that, he hasn't put a wrong foot forward. Basically, he's been very good, and Pereira, when he comes in, has been excellent too. I mean, he's taken another step up. Pereira is just such a like that header that goal from Urso. I mean, Pereira, the intelligence to get a defense. Look who was in the box in that play, right? Tesho falls on the ground, one times it out to Nani, who left foot one times it. Perfect cross, far post. What a great pass. Pereira cushions it back. Who ends in the 6-yard box? Benji, the right winger, is in the, or I guess I was a strike. I think it was a right winger at that time. He was in the box on the left, and then the other defensive midfielder Urso is in the box at the same time. So it's just cool to see that. So Yuri can't walk in here, and as Jansen deserved to lose jobs. He done anything wrong? No. Is João, I think, capable of more than Kyle? Sure, but like you guys said, we're at 0.33 goals per game, 1 goal off a fluke. Kyle in the Atlanta match, the part I was critiquing, there was too much space. He was getting beat by quickness. But since then, he's just turned into like a thug and just runs people over and shoves them out of bounds. I love it.
He's body shotting people like crazy.
He's body shotting people. He's out there, IRS just taking them people out and in handcuffs. And he's closed down the space. He hasn't been a problem. And then Bobby finally let him get forward against SKC late, and he's been good. We don't get the goal against SKC unless Kyle makes that run. And Kyle made another run where he passed it back over to Tesho, and if Tesho bricked it. I mean, it hit off his chest. He panicked and skied it. That should have been a goal too. So that was Kyle going forward. So, before he was offensively was useless basically, but now he's allowed to go forward, and I think he's just gotten comfortable on the left, and he's been useful. So it's crazy to think before the season started that, hey, when João and Jansen are available, they're just not going to just walk right in. But you got to consider it, as crazy as it is, And a lot of people love Jansen, but I think I'm with you guys. Just play the hot hand right now, because there's going to be growing pains. Yeah, João hasn't played in a long time. And dude, can we, if they're playing hot, maybe we just wait to one of those midweek matches, and if João puts in a good performance, then just play the hot hand. Basically, I don't know. I don't think that's the wrong thing to do.
Well, let's go to hot hands. Let's go to studs and duds. So let's talk about studs.
Nice transition there.
Well done.
I know.
That's a segue right there.
Yeah, there you go. Studs and duds. I'll go first.
Go for it.
My stud for this game was the one and only, my MVP goal scorer that I predicted for the year that everybody laughed at. You're crazy. How is he going to be MVP? He's going to be Nani. So yes, MVP Nani, my guy, the Portuguese, Michael Jackson. He is the stud.
What?
Because of the hair.
He is the stud.
Yeah.
You seen him make his moves? He does little capoeira and does the kizomba. So
okay.
If you guys
That's what that
look
was?
up kizomba, if you guys look it up,
I wasn't
it's a
sure.
nice dance actually. It's like the lambada, but more sexier. So you learned something here. Always at Orlando Lions Den. And my dud, I'm actually going to give it to Pedro Golazo. And the reason why, you guys didn't see that he did another mistake again. He gave it quickly to Antonio Carlos, who Antonio Carlos almost lost the ball again from the back. He didn't learn from last week. Look it up.
Okay.
You see
I did not see that. Otherwise, I wouldn't have said what I said earlier.
And Carlos had to kick it away and lost it and kicked it out of bounds. Yes, but look at it. It comes. It's in the first half. It's in the first half, and I want to say it's like in the probably between the 30th and 40th minute.
I think you're talking about when his pass got blocked. Because remember, one of his passes got blocked.
Oh yeah, one of his passes got blocked too. But he passed it to Antonio Carlos again, and the guy was right on top of him, and Antonio just had to kick it away.
Was it within the 18 box when he passed it?
It was in the 18 box again. Yep.
Yeah.
Look at it. And then my thing was, why are you doing it again? Didn't you learn from last week? And that's the thing. They want to play from the back all the time, and these teams are going to start pressuring, and they're going to start learning to cover these guys.
Look, as an Arsenal fan, I'm telling you, people, these out of the back people, it's like a cold or something. I don't know if like Cruyff haunts them or something, but they have to like keep doing it, and they just give up dumb goals all the time. It's beautiful when it's pulled off, but the risk reward is maddening to me. 17 passes backwards in your own 18-yard box, and then you finally
that's
get
what
through.
even happened to Cincinnati. That's how Texas scored, basically, technically.
Yeah, technically, but yeah.
All right,
that's
Eddie, who's your studs and duds?
That's a bit harsh on the dud, but I get your point. To me, I don't really have a dud. I mean, I think the sub should have been earlier. But, if you got to pick someone, that makes sense. Man, studs, I thought the whole back line played really well, all four of them. So they were fantastic. Defense, I thought a dud moment, I think, or a portion of the game, Juan got up a lot. Right, he put in a great cross to Urso. Urso needs to do a little more with some of these crosses. It's tough. It happens. But I thought there was a couple times where he didn't make the right pass or make the right pass soon enough in the box. I want Juan. Juan still needs development in the final third to make that right pass. Mueller hasn't been like fantastic this start of this year, right? I'm not saying he's a dud, but If Vanderwater gets some minutes over him, I'm not upset right now. If any of the starting, any of the wingers. Um, but stud, I'm gonna give it to Nani. Nani was amazing. That not just because of that goal. If you watch that pullback, I said it earlier about to Mueller, Mauricio. When Mauricio almost got hurt, and was absolute dime by Nani. Benji fell down in the box. Normally he falls down after he shoots. He fell down before he shot this time, and that was another dime by Nani. And Nani was all over the place and did well. I mean, I love how well Antonio Carlos reads the game. How many balls did he intercept in front? All of them, all the defenders did that. And then Juan, the goal for Nani, that was Juan who read the play, came up and stole it, and got it going forward. So that's what I kept trying to go over the top. Anything in the ground, we were just reading it and sending it right back. So that was just good to see. And but that's it. I get stud to Nani. Sebas was great again. Urso, great goal. And that's it. The back line, Nani. Most of the team are studs. That's all I got.
All right, Ryder.
I've been convinced out of my original stud, and I'm gonna give it to Nani. I not only did I like that goal where he turned a wall of people into basically his own little place to shoot, but also pulled an incredible moment where he embarrassed the entire lineage of an FC Cincinnati defender. But I also liked the creativity because we almost got another. It didn't get as appreciated because it didn't go in, but we almost got another back heel into the goal. He got a ball in and he almost put it in off his foot again, and it hit the post.
No, that was a header.
Was it a header? I thought it went off the back of his foot.
No, it was a header. It was a header. He had to hit the post. Yeah, it was a header. It was, Yeah.
Either way, it just getting so close to these beautiful goals and looking to find something out of nothing. It's what we need out of him, even if he's not going to be out there every single match or every single minute like he was last year. I mean, the funny thing about him is he still gets aggravated when you try and take him off. When you try to take him off, he is not happy. So he's my stud. I don't really have a dud. Honestly, I was gonna originally give Ron my stud because I liked all the energy out of him, but then Eddie talking about him reminded me the dud, and this has been for the past 2 weeks, is his right foot, because when he shoots, it just doesn't look like it's got any chance whatsoever. He's in good spaces to make those because he's so stinking fast, but poor guy can't shoot and put enough finesse on the ball to.
I think that shot was a shot. It wasn't. It was when he fell. Was it a pass or a shot? He had 3 people in the box.
No. It was.
I
actually
think
shot.
he was shooting. I'm pretty sure he was shooting.
He was shooting and he fell down. He pulled a Benji Michelle and fell down when he shot.
Those, that's why he missed last week at SKC. He didn't fall down. But that was, of all 4 choices, because he had 3 players. That was the worst one. Like, if there are people in the box, don't shoot. Just, we love you.
Make a little extra, as Ted Lasso says, make the extra pass.
Yeah, exactly. But don't shoot Papa. No, don't do that.
Leon.
Yeah, the stud, that's easy for me. That's Nani all day to this game. He was phenomenal. I don't think anybody was close to him. Nani all day, all alone. Stud. For dud, I got to go with, I'm not going to say Poppy was a dud because it was perfect game plan, but I'm going to say his late substitutions were a dud in man management. I'll say that because like Eddie pointed out earlier, a game like that, you can get guys in a lot early in the 85th minute. Especially when you already got guys like Nani. Nani's going to complain when you take him out of a game, but not when he's already scored a goal. You know what I mean? He'll go out, he'll take his little curtain call, good for the ego, good for the soul. He's not going to cry too hard about that when he's coming off after scoring a goal. He's not going to cry. But Vanderwater, IS Alvarado, guys like that, man, you got to get them in. You got to get them in. Like even I feel like a guy like Benji, who he's normally in your rotation anyway, and he's always going to get those minutes. A guy like Chris Mueller, he's always going to start. As of right now, he's the locked-in starter. You pull him off a little early in the game like that, it's whatever. He's going to get over. He's going to be starting the next game. You know what I mean? You're up 2 to 3 goals. You got to get guys like Alvarado, Vanderwater, Ias. You can get those guys in, man. Even if Benji misses the game, he knows he's going to play the next game. You know what I mean? So for me, I feel like you could do a little better on man management, and you know what I mean? Because they definitely did show signs of like when he caught the last 3 in that 85th, he thought he was going in, and when he didn't, you can see there was clear frustration. So I'll give it to Poppy Subs for my dud.
All right.
Yeah, and look, if it's me, if I was man management, I'd be like, we're going like a 3-1-5 or whatever, because like, who cares? Look, no offense to Joey Desart, but I could care less if he plays a minute. Like,
exactly, he
Joey
wasn't going to
Desart's
cry. He wasn't going to cry if he didn't.
He's
get in
going
that
to
game.
cry. There's no upside. We don't need to develop him into anything. He's going to be a squad player. That's it. Who cares?
He's happy to be on the team, bro.
Yeah, but Alvarado, Ayers, they uproot their lives to come over here.
Vanderwater.
We can't give him a trash goal. You know. Yeah.
Hey, Clan,
I understand getting João in there, and Poppy loves himself a late defensive sub. I mean, if we're up a goal or two, Poppy could go 8 center backs if they let him. He loves himself a defensive sub. So I get João coming in. That made sense, especially how much Huron runs, and but I mean, I get it, but at the same time, like, who cares if you have 1 or 2 midfielders? Like, throw Alvarado in there and just let him go, and throw Ayas in there, and then who cares?
Yeah,
what
just throw him a bone, man.
is?
You gotta throw him a bone.
I just thought, yeah, exactly.
I just gotta say, Clan, I gotta. Hey, when you called it Poppy Subs, I don't know if that's some kind of restaurant that we need to get opened, or if that's just a pub sub that doesn't get delivered on time.
Oh, dang. That sounds a little late.
All right, guys, let's talk about New York City FC coming into town on Saturday at 6 o'clock on ESPN. They come up a big victory over Philadelphia Union. They're actually second in the Supporter Shield right now with 6 points. They dominated the game. Yes, I know Philadelphia had Jose Martinez, who got the red card in the 16th minute. But, I mean, they dominated Philadelphia, and Philadelphia a favorite to be Eastern Conference champions, one of them. And, I mean, when you basically have possession of 66 to basically 33, and then you have shots on goal 7 for New York City FC to 0 on Philadelphia, and shots 23 to 4, whoo! It's time to be careful with this team, New York City FC.
Yeah.
So what do you guys think about the game? Medina scored 5 in the 5th minute, and then Castellanos scored also. So it was a 2-0 win for New York City over Philadelphia. What do you guys think of New York coming into town? I think this is going to be a very good test for Orlando City, Eddie.
Yeah, absolutely. I think they're in good form right now. They're people were worried that maybe they weren't going to be that good because they didn't have any additions, but the core they have is really good. Now they have James Sands back, who's healthy now. He's a really, really good, number 6 defensive midfielder, one of the better ones in the league. He wasn't there for a lot of last year. And Keegan Parks is a very good player. And then they're fluid too in their formation against Cincinnati. They played a 4-3-2, like 4-3-2-1, 4-2-3-1, something like that. And against Philly, they did a 3-4-1-2 with Maxi as a second striker underneath, and that's a problem because that little dude pops up everywhere. You got to remember too, this team is just full of like hard fouling Scandinavians who like always give us problems, right? And then just Maxi flopping, Castellanos flopping, Medina flopping. It's a dangerous team. They create chances. They create a lot of shots. They're going to give us some problem with their whip. If they do that, the fullbacks, Thornton, I believe, and it's up there. And Tennerholm is a very good player. They could, with those numbers of Parks, with Sands, with the fullbacks up there, they could overwhelm our midfield, which is our strength, and create some problems. And they sent in a lot of crosses. They had 19 crosses the last two games. But just like I said last year in the playoff game, and we saw it, they pepper you with shots, man. 23 shots the last two matches. And we're okay with Cincinnati. We won the possession battle, but that was just at the end, running the clock out. It was pretty close. We're not taking 60% of possession. We're not really that team. We're still kind of we're kind of more of a counter team. We can be possession, but we haven't been this year. I don't think we're gonna win the possession battle against NYC. We're gonna have to be really tight, really smart defensively. We're gonna have to be very clinical because I'm not sure how many chances we're gonna get. Because NYC is gonna get a lot of chances. We don't need another big match from Pedro. As great as the NYC playoff match was, if Pedro didn't stand on his head, we lose that 3-1. Because that's the fact. They had a ton of shots. Those two saves a save against Castellanos and Keaton Parks with the double save. Remember that? So they're going to. It's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. I'm worried. I'm worried that Maxi's healthy. Sands is healthy. Castellanos is playing well. Medina has 3 goals in 2 games. He was someone who scored on us in MLS's back. This one's got me a little bit worried. We have to be sharp in this one for sure. I'm glad it's at home. I will say that we tend to do much better at home against them than on the road.
All right, Ryder.
You want a prediction?
Well, I'll go back around with prediction. Okay. Ryder, what are your thoughts on the game?
I'm with Eddie. I'm a little more reserved about this one. This one, I'm definitely scared of Medina. 5 shots on goal with 3 goals. That's with 10 shots total. That's got me a little scared that we need to make sure that he doesn't get to take free kicks and B isn't given the opportunity to actually put the ball on the net, because he gets to put the ball in the net. Statistically speaking, it's going to go in, and this is going to be a test not only for Pedro, but it's going to be a test for, assuming the starting 11 is the same 4 guys we've been seeing the past 3 games on the back line. It's going to be a test to see, are they a well-gelled group? Are they a well-oiled machine? Or are they going to fall apart and cave to this threatening attack that's coming into our house? And that'll be very interesting to see. It'll also be very interesting to see if maybe Oscar can learn a little bit and think on his feet. And if he sees something he doesn't like, if he can make subs or as early as he can to counteract what NYCFC is doing. I mean, Eddie, you're talking about a fluid formation, a fluid attack strategy. We're not all that fluid, especially in our defense. We proved that we want to play out of the back instead of kicking it all the way to the midline, is just throw it to our guy that's just off of the 18. Got to make sure that we don't give up those opportunities where we can give their strikers, give their attacking midfielders the opportunity to make something out of nothing. Can't have those. Got to be sharp.
Let's not forget Poppy 2 matches ago subbed out somebody at halftime. So,
I wouldn't be surprised if we see that either way this game. Who was it that he subbed out?
Tesho for Pereira.
Tesho for Pereira. Yeah. Go ahead, Cleon.
Yeah, this game scares me, honestly, man. New York, since the back half of last season, they've been extremely good. They put a ton of goals in, and it's carried over so far this season. They lost that first game with DC United 2-1, but since then they've outscored 7-0. They won 5-0 and 2-0 the last game. You got Castellanos 3 goals and assist already. Medina looks like he's finally starting to break out, I guess. He's got 3 already, like you said. They're taking almost like 58% possession through these games. They're getting 19 shots on goal a game, or 19 shots at goal a game. They're I don't know, man. I'm worried. I'm glad this is at home. This will definitely be a test. It'll be a battle. It'll be a battle. I think you'll be looking at a rematch of a intensity wise, and I think you'll be looking at a type of game we had like during the playoff. And I mean, honestly, you're probably out looking for revenge, a little bit of revenge too. Showing back up at the scene.
Any red cards in this game? You guys think?
It might be.
Yeah, we got battles.
Remember, Mauricio got the nice red card in that game.
Oh,
Yeah, I don't think he's going to get one anytime soon.
No, Mauricio got the red card against New England. It was Juan who got the red card.
Juan got it
Against Thornton or whatever, right? Who's the one who?
You got to watch that too.
Yeah, Thornton, Juan, and Thornton's the one that Schlegel blocked, right? I mean, Thornton is he's a mess. He stepped on Juan. He was just being a troll the entire time. Norwegian troll. Those things are ugly. But you get those at the Epcot, Norway.
Anyways, what's your prediction, Eddie? What's your prediction?
Anyway, so there's gonna be some. It's gonna be like 5 yellow cards in my prediction. I'm gonna say 2-1 us because I want to be positive, and but I'm scared. I want to be positive and say 2-1, but my heart says 2-2 draw. My brain says 2-2. My heart says 2-1.
Ryder.
I'm happy that DK is not playing in this game because he would definitely be a problem to possibly get a red card. It's going to be interesting. What?
I will too.
I'd take that risk. I don't care.
I'm taking that all day.
I will too, but I don't need red cards this early in the year. We can't get mad at pro this early in the year. Yeah, I'm with you. I'm with your head there, Eddie. I think that 2-2 is kind of what this game is saying. It's saying we're gonna get some stuff on goal, get some stuff in goal, because I mean their defense is threatening, but we've got some threatening guys on offense, but they have the same thing. So it's gonna be kind of a offensive tit for tat.
Leon.
I'm going to say 2-1 Orlando.
All right, Here's my prediction. Pedro Golazo gets a red card in the 5th minute. What? Rodrigo Schlegel moves into goalkeeper. Robin Janssen comes in. No, I'm just messing around. Don't believe that. I go 1-1 tie. 1-1 tie. Orlando City ties it.
That was almost my score line too. I almost went with that one.
It's going to be a tough game no matter what. I see a lot of, whoever the referee is in that game needs to keep an eye on everything very closely. Fourth official, everybody. It's going to be, and it's a great game because it's going to be on ESPN, nationally televised.
And Chanel, bro, I hate that dude so much, man.
It's going to be awesome.
I hate
love
that
it.
Dude so much.
It's going to be a great game. All right, guys, let's do our shout outs. Our weekly shout out. Doesn't have to be anything about soccer or anything. It's your shout out. Let's start with Ryder. Your shout out for this week.
Because I've been criticized my past two appearances on the podcast. My shout out is to my girlfriend Kayla. Hi Kayla, I know you're listening at work today. I love you very much. And not just to Kayla, but also to all of our significant others and families for the sacrifice that they give week in and week out to let us come on, let us take some time in our man caves and talk about soccer with our buddies. So appreciate that to all of them.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Cool.
Eddie.
Tough to follow that up. Jeez. All right.
Sorry.
That's okay. I'm gonna give a shout out to shout out to the just the Orlando City organization. But first of all, I want to give a shout out, but just overall the front office, right? What they're doing, but mostly one man. This is Cleon. Cleon's the number one Alex Leitao stan. But I like it the way we're doing the DK deal. I mean, he just swung it on him. He says, hey, you could we let him go to you for free because we didn't think you'd make it this far. But now that you did, you got to pay up. And if not, we'll take it back. We don't care. And we ain't taking less than 20 million. I just dug it. I dug the whole vibe. He just lit it out. We had all the leverage. I just like the competency. I'm proud of my club the way it's run. And shout out to that. And shout out to North Georgia. I had a good vacation up there. Blue Ridge.
Awesome. I guess I'll go and I'll go last. I'm going to give a shout out to the best coach ever Orlando City has ever had. He's the most, he was the face of this team from USL days to the first year. And guess what? He's doing a great job in Minnesota. 0-3, hasn't even won a game. Shout out to Adrian D. There you go. 0-3. All right.
One goal.
Oh, you're dirty, bro.
Play
You're
one
dirty,
goal.
bro. Dirty,
one
bro.
one goal in 3 games. Yikes. Dang, JJ. 2-foot him.
Go ahead.
Right there.
Yeah.
I was actually going to use my shout out on I was watching Inter Miami earlier today. Robbie Robinson, he came back from a hamstring last week. Left the game after about 11 minutes or so.
What?
With another hamstring. So just a quick reminder.
Alex shouts out all the lovely family. JJ 2 Foots, Adrian Heath, and then Cleon's making fun of Robbie Robertson.
And then so I
games.
just wanted to make sure I got a little shout out there to into Miami and everyone's favorite Paul McDonough. Our favorite trash bag. Paul McDonough.
He was the best general manager. Come on.
Hey, he did wonders for us. He's about to get us $20 million for passing on Daryl DK twice. So shout out to you, Paul McDonough, wherever you are, making somebody worse.
Where isn't he? Wow. Is he in Atlanta right now?
And a second shout out to that after a week of crying about how Ochoa wants to kick a ball into a stands. A second shout out to that Minnesota fan that called the ball dead in his face from his own player this weekend. Shout out to you. Keep your head on the swivel, buddy.
Yeah, and I'd like to give a shout out to the 12 guardsmen, 12 police officers of the Liverpool Manchester United fiasco.
Come on, they have more than 12.
It was
bro.
ridiculous.
It was at least 18.
Seriously, yeah.
It was at least 18.
I'm just thinking. I can't say that on a podcast.
Yeah,
Never mind.
They sent their starting 11 of the local police out there to round up a mob of 2,000. They all dispersed.
And they dispersed. Man, if you guys really listen, you Liverpool fans in Manchester or whoever the heck invaded the field, learn from Sporting Lisbon. Okay, they don't go to the field; they just go to the locker rooms.
They did go to the locker room today, bro.
Just one guy.
But there was no players. Really?
No, there was no players there. They got there a little early. Yeah, they got there a little early.
About going to the training facility.
They got to work on their timing, bro.
Now, I don't endorse any violence, but learn from Sporting Lisbon. At least those guys know how to do it the right way.
If we're giving multiple shout outs, then I want to do one to thank you so much to the San Francisco 49ers for not drafting Justin Fields and letting him go to Chicago. He's going to love it there.
Wow. Okay. A shout out to 40 years of quarterback ineptitude. I'm gonna take the field on Fields and just assume the Chicago Bears will mess it up anyways. So we'll leave it at that.
Well said. Touche.
Well said. All right, Cleon. Anybody else? Anything else to say, Cleon?
All we got to say is no pato, and we still partied. We out. And Barnsley, y'all better hurry up and exercise that $2 million option because it's looking mighty expensive right now, buddy. Better show me that money.
See you guys next week right here on Orlando Lions Den. Till next week. So long. Vamos, Orlando.